Welcome to the dark and mysterious side of Sweden. Today we explore 15 of the most haunted places in the country, where history, tragedy, and restless spirits come together. Get ready for a spine-chilling journey through ancient castles, eerie churches, and ghost-filled ruins. Are you brave enough to discover the stories that still haunt these locations? First, Borgvattnet Vicarage, the haunted vicarage. In the heart of northern Sweden lies the small village of Borgvattnet, home to one of the most haunted places in the country, the Borgvattnet Vicarage. Built in 1876, this seemingly innocent house hides chilling tales that have endured for over a century. Residents and visitors alike have reported spine-tingling encounters, chairs moving on their own, inexplicable footsteps echoing in empty hallways, and even ghostly apparitions. One infamous story tells of a priest who saw an old woman crying in a chair, only to watch her vanish before his eyes. Guests brave enough to stay overnight have described an oppressive atmosphere, a sensation of being watched, and even waking up to find themselves being pulled from their beds. Today, the vicarage operates as a guest house, inviting thrill seekers to experience its eerie mysteries firsthand. But beware, once you step inside, you may leave with more than just memories. Second, Stockholm Old Town, Gamla Stan. Beneath the cobblestone streets and colorful facades of Stockholm's Old Town, or Gamla Stan, lies a dark and haunted history. This medieval district, dating back to the 13th century, is said to be home to restless spirits that still wander its narrow alleys. One of the most chilling tales speaks of the Grey Monk, a ghostly figure seen gliding silently through Prästgatan, the priest street, where monks once lived and prayed. Some claim to hear his footsteps echo in the dead of night. In the square of Stortorget, where a brutal massacre of nobles occurred in 1520, visitors report feeling an icy grip or hearing faint screams carried by the wind. Many buildings, such as the infamous House of Nobility, are said to harbor spectral guests who linger in shadowed corners. As you walk through Gamla Stan, you might feel a sudden chill, a whisper in your ear, or the unsettling sensation that someone or something is following you. Third, Kalmar Castle. Standing proudly on Sweden's southeastern coast, Kalmar Castle is a fortress of grandeur and ghostly secrets. Built over 800 years ago, its walls have witnessed battles, betrayals, and bloodshed. But it's not the history books that haunt this castle. It's the spirits of its tormented past. Among them is the White Lady, believed to be the restless soul of a noblewoman who met a tragic end within the castle's walls. Visitors have reported glimpses of her pale figure gliding silently through the halls or staring from the windows, her sorrowful presence chilling to the bone. The dungeons below tell their own grim tales, chains that rattle without cause, eerie whispers, and sudden drops in temperature. Even seasoned guides have admitted to hearing footsteps echoing in the empty corridors. At Kalmar Castle, history refuses to rest in peace, leaving those who dare enter to question if they too will encounter its lingering phantoms. Fourth, Gripsholm Castle. Perched on the shores of Lake Mälaren, Gripsholm Castle is a picturesque fortress with a chilling reputation. Built in the 16th century, this historic site is said to be haunted by the tormented spirit of King Erik XIV, who was imprisoned and eventually poisoned within its stone walls. Visitors have reported hearing anguished cries echoing through the corridors late at night, as if the king's restless soul is reliving his final moments. Some have seen shadowy figures darting through the halls or felt an oppressive presence near the very rooms where Erik was held captive. The castle's towers hold secrets of their own, with cold drafts and inexplicable sounds leaving even the bravest explorers uneasy. While its grand halls are steeped in history, the air inside carries an undeniable sense of sorrow, as if the walls themselves remember the tragic fate of those who once dwelled here. Femte, Tofta Manor, Tofta Herrgård. Nästled i vinddragene på Gotland, Tofta Manor udstråler en spøgelig charm, som skjuler sin rolige udseende. This centuries-old estate is said to be a magnet for restless spirits, with countless stories of ghostly encounters whispered among locals and visitors. One of its most haunting legends tells of a spectral guest, a woman in white, who roams the halls, her footsteps echoing softly in the dead of night. Guests have woken to the sound of furniture being dragged across the floor, only to find everything untouched in the morning. Others report sudden cold drafts and the unshakable feeling of being watched, even when alone. The manor's grand dining room is particularly notorious, where flickering candlelight and faint whispers seem to beckon from the shadows. At Tofta Manor, the line between the living and the dead feels impossibly thin, as if the spirits of its past are always waiting for new company. 6th Osterbybruk Manor. Hidden deep in the forests of upland lies Osterbybruk Manor, a grand estate with a chilling reputation. This 18th century manor, once home to wealthy ironmasters, now harbors stories of ghostly sorrow and unfulfilled longing. The most famous tale is that of a young woman, her heart broken by betrayal, who is said to wander the grounds in search of her lost love. Guests have reported glimpsing her pale figure in the moonlight, her mournful wails echoing through the night. Inside the manor, eerie occurrences are common. Doors slam without warning. The scent of roses fills empty rooms, and faint sobbing can be heard from the attic. Those who dare to spend the night often describe waking up to a heavy weight pressing on their chest, as though the spirit is desperately trying to share her anguish. At Osterbybruk Manor, love and heartbreak linger long after death, casting an eternal shadow over its halls. 7th Haringe Castle. Haringe Castle, nestled just outside Stockholm, is a place where luxury and terror intertwine. This grand estate, dating back to the 17th century, has a dark history that echoes through its lavish halls. The castle is said to be haunted by several restless spirits, including the infamous Lady in Black. She is often seen gliding through the dimly lit corridors, her presence accompanied by the faint scent of lavender. Guests have reported hearing eerie whispers at night, doors creaking open on their own, and sudden bone-chilling drops in temperature. In the old wine cellar, shadows seem to dance in the flickering candlelight, and many claim to feel an unseen hand brushing against them. Some say the ghosts are former residents who met tragic ends, unable to leave the castle's grip. At Haringe Castle, the elegance of the past is laced with an unsettling darkness, leaving visitors questioning what lies just beyond the veil of the living. 8 Vaxholm Fortress, Vaxholm's Festning. Surrounded by the cold, misty waters of Stockholm's archipelago, Vaxholm Fortress looms like a sentinel of the past and a prison for the restless dead. Built in the 16th century to defend Sweden's capital, this stone stronghold carries more than just stories of war. Soldiers stationed here have long whispered of ghostly figures patrolling the battlements, their hollow footsteps echoing against the damp stone walls. Deep within the fortress, the air grows thick and suffocating in the underground tunnels, where prisoners once languished in despair. Visitors often report hearing faint cries and disembodied voices calling their names from the shadows. One chilling account tells of a guard who vanished only for his spectral form to reappear, forever pacing the same desolate hall. As the waves crash against the fortress walls, the sound seems to carry the lingering sorrow of lives lost, leaving an undeniable sense of unease for those who dare to venture inside. 9th Katarina Churchyard. High on the hills of Stockholm stands Katarina Churchyard, a serene resting place that holds a dark, restless energy. Dating back to the 1600s, this ancient cemetery is steeped in sorrow and haunted by stories of unquiet souls. Among its graves lies the legend of the Fire Lady, a spectral figure cloaked in flames who is said to roam the grounds on cold, misty nights. Witnesses have reported hearing mournful whispers, feeling icy hands brush against their skin, and seeing faint flickers of light darting between the gravestones. Beneath the earth, a network of forgotten tunnels and crypts adds to the site's eerie allure, their entrances sealed, but their secrets alive in the echoes of the night. As the church bells toll at midnight, a haunting stillness falls over the yard, as if the dead are listening, waiting. At Katarina churchyard, the line between peace and terror is as thin as the autumn mist that blankets its ancient stones. 10th, Lau Castle. Standing imposingly on the shores of Lake Vänern, Lau Castle is a breathtaking fortress with a past as haunted as its stone walls are ancient. Built in the 13th century, the castle is home to chilling tales of ghostly apparitions and restless spirits. One of the most terrifying legends is that of the monk who was rumored to be murdered in the castle's dungeons. Visitors often report hearing eerie footsteps and muffled chants echoing through the halls, especially near the old chapel where the monk met his fate. Cold, ghostly hands are said to reach out from the shadows, and those who dare to explore the darkened towers sometimes feel a heavy, unseen presence following them. The castle's deep corridors are filled with whispers of a tragic past, as if the very stones hold the souls of those who perished within. At Lau Castle, history is not the only thing that lingers, so do the spirits that refuse to leave. 11th, Scansen Cronin. Perched atop a hill in Gothenburg, Scansen Cronin is a fortress that has stood for centuries, guarding the city with a dark, foreboding presence. Built in the late 1600s, it has witnessed countless battles, executions, and untold horrors, leaving behind a heavy, haunted legacy. The most chilling accounts come from those who've ventured into the fortress's eerie, dimly lit chambers, where strange noises and whispers fill the air. Visitors have reported hearing the clink of chains and the mournful cries of prisoners who once languished in its dark dungeons. On stormy nights, the sound of footsteps echoing down empty hallways is a common occurrence, as if the spirits of the past are forever trapped within the fortress walls. Many have felt a cold breath on their necks, or the unsettling sensation of being watched. Scansen Cronin may seem like an imposing landmark by day, but as night falls, it becomes a prison for the ghosts of history, unwilling to release their grip on the living. 12th, Lund Cathedral. In the heart of Lund, Sweden stands the majestic Lund Cathedral, a stunning masterpiece of medieval architecture, but beneath its beauty lies a sinister history. Built over 900 years ago, this cathedral is rumored to be haunted by an ancient evil that dates back to its construction. The most famous haunting is that of the cathedral's crypt, where it is said the restless souls of the builders still linger. Some visitors have heard the faint sound of hammering and stone grinding, as if the construction of the cathedral is not yet complete. Others report seeing shadowy figures move between the columns, vanishing just as quickly as they appear. The cathedral's eerie, labyrinthine corridors seem to play tricks on the mind, leading some to feel an overwhelming sense of dread, as if something, or someone, is lurking just beyond sight. As the bells toll late at night, a chilling silence falls over the cathedral, as if the past is awakening, demanding to be remembered. At Lund Cathedral, the sacred and the sinister are forever entwined, leaving visitors with an unnerving feeling of being watched by something ancient and unseen. 13th, Broholm Manor. In the remote countryside of Skåne, Broholm Manor stands as an imposing reminder of the past, shrouded in darkness and chilling tales. Built in the 16th century, this grand estate is home to numerous ghostly legends that have been passed down through generations. One of the most disturbing stories is that of a young bride who was said to have died tragically on her wedding night. Her restless spirit, dressed in a blood-stained gown, is believed to haunt the halls, her mournful wails echoing in the dead of night. Those who stay at the manor often speak of hearing the sound of footsteps pacing the old wooden floors, even when the house is empty. Strange cold spots appear out of nowhere, and flickering candlelight casts eerie shadows on the walls. The grounds themselves seem alive with an unsettling energy, as though the spirits of past residents are still trapped within the manor's walls, forever reliving their tragic fates. Broholm Manor may offer a glimpse into history, but it also offers an invitation to the unknown, where the living and the dead exist in an endless, uneasy dance. 14. Mby Castle Ruins. Hidden deep in the Swedish countryside, the ruins of Mby Castle stand as a silent, decaying monument to a forgotten past. Built in the 14th century, this crumbling fortress has long been abandoned, but its dark history lingers in the air. The castle was once the home of a powerful family, whose tragic fate is said to have left its mark on the land. Visitors report hearing the eerie sound of chains dragging across the stone floors in the dead of night, and some claim to see ghostly figures wandering the ruins, figures that vanish as quickly as they appear. On moonlit nights, strange lights flicker among the crumbling towers, as if the castle's long-dead inhabitants are still watching, waiting for something. The wind that howls through the broken walls carries with it whispers of betrayal and murder, as though the very earth beneath the ruins holds the dark secrets of those who perished there. Mby Castle ruins may seem like a place of history, but to those who dare explore its shadows, it is a place where the past refuses to die, and the spirits trapped within refuse to leave. 15th. Svaneholm Castle. Deep in the heart of Skåne, Svaneholm Castle stands, cloaked in mystery and dread. Built in the 16th century, this imposing structure is surrounded by tales of betrayal, tragedy, and dark forces that refuse to fade with time. The most notorious legend speaks of a cruel nobleman who met a gruesome end within these very walls. His restless spirit is said to haunt the castle, forever searching for the justice he never received. Visitors often report hearing his ghostly footsteps pacing the halls at night, the sound of chains rattling in the empty corridors, and an overwhelming sense of cold that seems to settle over the castle. In the castle's ancient chapel, flickering candlelight casts long shadows, and some claim to feel a presence lurking just behind them. The oppressive silence of Svaneholm Castle is broken only by whispers, whispers that tell of a long-forgotten curse, binding the souls of the dead to the castle forever. At Svaneholm, the past is never truly gone, and the spirits of the castle seem to be waiting for their next visitor. These haunted places are not just remnants of history, they're living memories of those who never truly left. If you dare to visit, beware. You might find more than just a glimpse of the past. Thanks for joining us on this journey into Sweden's most chilling locations. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share for more ghostly adventures.